Howdy, Michael the Mercedes guy here, and we're talking about ignition tumblers, key assembly, and when they start getting very hard to turn, it's time to replace this tumbler. If you wait too long, you cannot turn it, and you can't get the tumbler out without extensive work like drilling it out or taking the dash apart to remove the switch assembly. So, you want, when it gets hard to turn, you need to buy a new tumbler. Now, this is a 124 car, and you need to remove this plastic and this plastic. So, I've made a little tool out of a tin can. I'm going to go up in here and release that. And it popped off the other side. Great. Now what I was doing there, there's a couple of hooks here. And there's a raised piece of plastic right there. So what I'm doing is pushing this up in here like this, like so that you can pull this way and this comes off. It's the same deal on the other side. So this is off now. This piece of trim. Use your hook and push that direction as you pull. Once it's loose here, then you push this direction as you work it off. And there's what it looks like on the back side. Now somebody has already broke this tab right here, but it has two hooks and this tab. So when you're taking it off, you pull this way to get it off, and then this way to get these tabs out of their square holes. Now, you have room now to pull this lock off. Alrighty, next step is to pull the tumbler out. And you need to make a tool like this. Now online, people are talking about 1.5 millimeter diameter. No, you're just going to have a lot of trouble. What you want is 2 millimeter diameter. Now welding rod doesn't come in 2 millimeter. I'm using a piece of old-fashioned wire coat hanger. It comes in 2 millimeter diameter. Then you carefully grind the ends to a 45 to look thus, so that they face each other. Also, you want to bend this so that they're exactly equal this way, and this size right here is 7/8 of an inch. Alrighty. Now what I'm doing, your key in the off position is thus. We're going to turn the key thusly so that those two slots line up. Now you can't really see that. That's why I'm showing with another tumbler. Okay, I've got my wire made. And the next thing you want to do is pull off the negative cable off of your battery. Not the positive, the negative. Why? Because your end wrench, if you're doing the positive, the end wrench can touch a ground area and make a big spark. You don't want that. The negative cable. Pull it off. That way you don't have an annoying buzzer going off while you're doing this work here. So, here's what that assembly looks like. You've got your key. You've got an outer housing that must come off in order to get the tumbler out. This outer housing is held in place by a spring ring that goes into this slot right here. So one of these releases that ring, while the other one slides in and releases this spring ring right here. That little guy. So, what you want to do is take your key off of your key ring and then turn your key to the first position. You'll hear a click. Then slide your tool in to both slots at the same time. As you see, it's going in. Push hard and pull the assembly off. Bingo. You pull the wire out, and you want to grab the back side here and turn the tumbler so you can pull the key out, so you can pull this ring off. Then you install your new tumbler the same way. You put the black ring on and put your key in and turn it so the slots line up, first position, and then you slide your wire in, that's with this on, and then you push the assembly on. And you may want to rotate this a little bit to get it to snap on all the way. Now, this is something that's important. This is an original 124 tumbler I took off of a parts car. This is a brand new tumbler. It even has a Mercedes insignia. This doesn't work. When I put this tumbler in, you open the door, it buzzes. With the key out of the ignition lock, it buzzes. And in fact, in a couple days, the battery's dead because it actually turns something on. So, I looked at this very closely compared to an original. And this little thing right here, the end cross-section, is different. As you can see, it is different. So this brand new one doesn't work. I mean, it works. You put it in, you can turn your car on, you can shut it off, so on, but it excites something in there. It turns something on. So, I got this out of a low miles parts car. So I'm putting in a used one. So, if your new one presents a problem where you open your door with no key in the ignition and you have a buzzing sound, that means it is turning on a component. And I could actually tell as well with the doors closed, no key in the ignition, hood open, I loosened the negative cable, took it off, and I just touch it to the post, and I could hear something clicking up here. It was turning on something. So, you may have a problem with a brand new lock tumbler assembly, and you may want to resort to finding a used one. So, installation, you need to put this cover on first. Then you put your key in, and then you need to grab the end here so that you can turn the key to where the slots line up. This slot with that slot. And if you just hold it up to the light and turn it, bingo, I can see through. Then you take your wire and insert it in both slots. And as you can see, the wire has come through the back side. You put your key and tumbler assembly in. Okay, I had a little difficulty. I pulled it back off, and my difficulty was that this point of the wire and this point of the wire had sprung out. So you really need to have those two wires like that, so that by the time you push it in, it may end up being parallel, but not out like that. That's where you'll have a problem. Okay, I'm sliding it on. Bingo, it's on. You hold the key in, you pull the wire out, and there you go. You have operation, and you've replaced the tumbler. Now you're going to end up with a key for your ignition and a key for your doors. So I've rounded these corners off to know the difference, and actually I'm going to wipe it clean with lacquer thinner and paint this white. That way, even in the dark, I'll know the difference between the keys. Okay, we've got our unit in there. We're going to put this plastic on. So you go this direction, you get those two hooks into the square holes here, and then there's a rubber right here that you have to get around the ignition lock. So I'm just going to help that around. I could use a screwdriver. I just happen to have this handy. Okay, it's around the unit, and then pop that in. And then these guys here, the 4 hooks. Push in. And push in. And there you go.